Hello, sexy people. I'm Olive Von Topp, burlesque performer and empowerment coach, and I want to talk to you about sexual confidence. Woo woo. Okay, so sexual confidence, it's this thing that we think is just like only available to people that like are born, quote unquote gorgeous and they're, magically they have it and it's not available to anyone else who doesn't fit conventional standards. And newsflash, first of all, most of those folks that you're thinking of actually probably aren't that confident. And secondly, it's a learned thing, it's in our heads. We aren't born thinking, that we're inherently not worthy. It's something that we learn. So I want to talk about a few tips that I have around sort of starting to build sexual confidence. So, first of all, getting clear on your shame scripts. I do talk about shame in another video. You can check that out. But shame scripts are really these thoughts that you have that aren't really yours, but they're ingrained in you from childhood. So there are a lot of the like shoulds, what sex should look like, what your body should look like, what your desire should look like. So I suggest getting really clear on these and like writing them down. Like where are the places that you hold shame as related to sex? And I think, in Western society, even though sex is in our face all the time, we have a lot of shame around sex. So do you think, sex is dirty or masturbation is bad? Or, do you hold shame about who you're attracted to or what you're into or what your body looks like or if you watch porn or, whatever it is? Like, where do you hold shame? Because shame is our biggest deterrent, I think, yeah, to experiencing pleasure and deservedness. But that also ties into shame. So getting really clear on these thoughts is super paramount in overcoming them and becoming more confident, in and out of the bedroom. So then I suggest really getting curious and critical of those thoughts, like asking yourself questions like, says who and so what? So, these scripts are ingrained in us from, things like family, religion, peer groups, and then obviously media and all the messaging that we receive from these systems of various systems like patriarchy and white supremacy and capitalism around like what we are supposed to look like often and what we're supposed to be like, often designed to control us, and they benefit certain people and really cause other people to struggle. So, getting really clear on those thoughts and where they come from can be super helpful. And asking yourself, like, do I want to believe these thoughts? They're so ingrained, you may have never stopped to question them, or that you even have control over the fact of whether you choose to believe them. Sometimes we're just like, yeah, that's just like the way it is. Certain bodies are better than others. But it's like, do I want to believe that? Is that a belief that I want to subscribe to? Because I can also choose not to believe it. It's not, I'm not saying it's super easy, but it is a choice. Like and so once we begin to question those thoughts, those scripts, then the easier it becomes to choose other thoughts that serve us more. I also suggest asking yourself, so what? As it can be super powerful. Like, what is the thing that I am so worried about? So, let's say farting during sex. Well, I'm sure that's not preferable for most people unless that's what you're into. Taking a moment to really ask, like, okay, like, if I'm so afraid of this, like, so what? What is kind of like the worst thing that I am worried about here? Or like, what am I making that mean? So, what would happen if I farted during sex? Would I be embarrassed? Yeah, probably. Also because I have the thought that like bodies aren't supposed to do that thing during sex, and that there's only certain times that they do that, even though I could also have the thought that like bodies do all kinds of things that we don't have control over, and sex is like a place where there's a lot of loss of control, and that's just a byproduct. But anyway, would I be embarrassed? Potentially. Can I handle that? Yes, because it's just an emotion and I'm willing to experience any emotion. And you can catch me talking about that in any number of other videos below. Would my partner laugh or leave or say something rude? Potentially. Would that hurt in the moment? Yeah. And would it tell me that they're a person that I, want to spend more time with or not? yeah, also possibly that. So I think so often when we're, driven by fear, we don't actually ask what that fear is about. We just react to it. But most of the time, it's just an emotion, and we're really just, excuse me, fearing being vulnerable. And that when we remember that emotions are just sensations in our bodies, albeit perhaps unpleasant or painful ones, we are reminded that they won't kill us and that most of the time we can experience them and be okay. And so really thinking out, like, what is the thing that I am so afraid of? Talking about some of the things you're afraid of or feel shame about with other people can be super validating, because most of us carry a lot of shame around sex. And as Brene Brown says, shame can't exist or loses its power when it's spoken. Something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing, but like, the secrecy is what gives shame its power. So when you can talk about it with other people, it loses a lot of its power. So in terms of like thinking new thoughts that you want to be thinking, can you think backwards? So this is a strategy we use a lot in coaching, and it applies obviously for sexual confidence. So like thinking about your most like sexually wonderful, vibrant, amazing time. Like, what were you doing in that time? Probably something sexy, but maybe not. But like, whatever it is, when do you feel the sexiest? When have you felt the sexiest? What were you doing? And what were you feeling when in order to be doing that thing? And then what were you thinking in order to be having that feeling? And that is the thought that you want to be, having on the reg. So you could be, doing your thing, and you could be thinking like, you're present in your body and you're feeling really good, and you could feel alive and electric and sensual and powerful, and your thoughts might be like, fuck, this feels so good, or I'm a goddamn goddess, god, warrior, magical unicorn, whatever it is. I'm powerful, I'm sexy as fuck. Like, whatever the thing, damn, my thighs look strong, whatever the thought is that you're thinking. And these can be really powerful thoughts for creating sexual confidence, because that's, you were feeling confident in that moment. So thoughts that you can be practicing in and out of the bedroom all the time, especially like right before, during, and after sex, when you're feeling your most vulnerable. So write out some of the thoughts that you want to be thinking, that provide you from some relief from those shame scripts that we've identified. And those can be some simple things like, I'm enough, I'm lovable, I deserve to experience pleasure. Write out what you want to be thinking. And then we need to work our way up to those thoughts, what I call thought tiers. So sometimes, you might be having that thought like in the middle of your most, sexually electric moment, but like calling up those thoughts when you're not is maybe really difficult. So like starting with a more neutral thought that you can believe, that provides some relief for you to your shame script, to those like core negative beliefs that you're not enough and you're not lovable and you're not sexy, and working your way up. So for some folks, a neutral thought can be like, I have a body, or I have a human stomach, or sexy is subjective. Anybody can be sexy. Sexy can look a lot of ways, whatever it is, and really start implementing those into your life. So saying them every damn day, inside, outside the bedroom, when you're not feeling vulnerable, when you're feeling confident, in your most confident times, brushing your teeth, whatever it is, allowing yourself to really feel that in your body. And you gotta believe it, because if you don't believe it, it's not gonna work. You gotta start back. You gotta go back. You gotta get more neutral. So once you believe those thoughts, implementing, more positive or peaceful thoughts, that are a little bit more positive, that you can believe as well. So they might be things like, I have cellulite and that's okay, or like, I can provide pleasure to my partner in a variety of ways, or I'm a very thoughtful or passionate lover. I'm allowed to enjoy sex, like whatever those are, because we're really trying to rewire our brain, right? Our brain is so, it's choosing the shortest, easiest circuit, which is like the like back here subconscious like shame script, like, yeah, I'm a piece of shit, or like only these bodies are sexy, or like this thing is inherently wrong. And we're challenging that, and we're introducing new thoughts, and we're creating new pathways. And then you can work your way up to the more positive thoughts once you believe those, like, I'm a goddamn amazing lover, I'm pleasure queen, whatever it is that you wanna implement that makes you feel confident. um yeah, so onward to things outside of thoughts, like doing things that make you feel sexy on the regular. Where do you feel most confident? Where do you feel most sexy? Like, write those down, write a list, and then really make time to do those things. It could be, everybody feels sexy doing different things. It could be like stretching, getting dressed up. It could be doing yoga. It could be juggling, for all I care. I don't know. What makes you feel sexy? And then, like, making time to do those things. Do them more often, make time for them, do them before sexual activities or sexy times can be super, super helpful. I've even heard that like power poses before a sexual activity can help increase confidence. Practicing, this is like a whole nother video. Practicing self-worth and body acceptance. Yeah, it's definitely another self-worship and body acceptance is another video basically, but like, I like to practice self-worship practices. I like to practice self-worship. These are things that, make you feel good in your body. They make you, you're taking time to really appreciate all the wonderful things about your body and all the pleasure it allows you to experience, and just like basically treating yourself like you are the goddamn king, queen, warrior, magical unicorn that you are. So, it can be just things that create that help you tune into your body and create pleasure. Um, they could be things like having a bath full of rose petals, or like putting some nice cream on your body, or adorning yourself in jewels, or admiring your reflection, or touching yourself, or writing yourself a love letter, whatever it is. Really practicing that sort of self worship. Sometimes you might even have to fake it till you make it. Other like more practical things, like learning a new skill. If there's certain things you're not confident about, there is so much good information about sex out now that we didn't have. Many of us didn't have growing up. That there's the internet, and there's like really good sex educators out there who have amazing classes. You can check out a lot of those. I sometimes run amazing classes under Sexy Ed. Is my workshop, my sex and pleasure workshop series. Anyway, if you think about it, there is something out there for you, and it also just like helps to normalize like your desires and experiences, and helps with that shame piece. I would suggest asking for what you need to feel more confident. That can be really challenging, and it's often easier to do this outside of the bedroom, but like, I need us to start with the lights lower, or like, I really love like verbal confirmation about this, or like, I loved it when you told me that you liked blank about me, or when I do this, I need you, or would like you to do or say this thing if that's possible, or act in this way. I often tell people when I'm teaching the stripping workshops, like, having these conversations before, like, would you be interested in me doing a striptease for you? This is what I would like from you. Like, I need you to be like quiet or encouraging, or like not laugh, or whatever it is. And doing that when you're, outside of the bedroom. Looking at other bodies, normalizing other bodies, following body positive accounts, watching and sex educators, because there's lots about, real bodies, watching feminist or amateur porn with real bodies. You can even write in questions to sex educators or podcasts about like what's, normal or not, and you might find that your experiences are very widely shared. Getting more comfortable with pleasure, that is a whole nother topic in itself. I also have a video on that down below. But really creating more pleasure in your life, getting clear about your thoughts about pleasure, but like pleasure outside of the bedroom as well. Just like experiencing more stuff that brings you joy and pleasure and allows you to experience that in your body. Making time in your day-to-day life for that will change your experiences of pleasure in the bedroom. Obviously, masturbating to get more familiar with what feels good, and removing the goal of orgasming as well can be really helpful in terms of like feeling more comfortable, taking that pressure off and focusing on experiencing of pleasure. On that topic, doing more things that also help you tune into your body will also help you experience more pleasure, because pleasure is an embodied experience. So doing things that bring you into your body, like breath work or yoga or dance. I'll be offering some guided dance movements to bring you into your pleasure as well, and to bring you into your body. So you can stay tuned for those. Just really paying attention to your body's cues, especially, when you are asked it a question, what is it telling you? There's a lot of wisdom in our bodies that we don't always pay attention to. So I could go on and on about this. This was supposed to be a short video. This is, there's a lot in there. Get at me with questions. As always, you can check out my blogs about these topics at olivevontopp.com, and you can find me on all the social medias at Olive Von with a V, Topp, Topp. I'll catch you on the flip side. I'm wishing you lots of pleasure and sexual confidence, and I'll talk to you soon.